Greetings to you, Dr. Joseph Martin here. Despair is a spiritual condition, world gone crazy. Let's look at the feelings and thoughts and realities about this. Let's start the far end of this, world gone crazy, and look at some of the etymology and definitions of what this means. Now, world. World means everything outside of yourself. It can mean the social world, the political world, the economic world. It can mean all the people outside of yourself, including family and friends, and events and circumstances, meteorological and all kinds of circumstances outside yourself, as opposed to self, which is just about you and your own life and what you can create with yourself in your own life. Crazy. What does crazy mean? Crazy means full of cracks or fears and flaws. It means something that's diseased or ill or sick. And it also, in another term, means to drive someone crazy. And I'm wondering how many of you are feeling like the world is driving you crazy right now. And to what extent are you letting the world drive you crazy right now? Despair. What is despair? It comes from the Latin word sperare, which means to hope, but you put a de in front of it, it means without. So it means despair is an experience, a state of being or feeling or thinking completely without hope, lost all hope. There is no hope. You feel dismayed, you feel let down, you feel that you're ready to give up, or you already have given up. And there's a sense of futility, defeat, lack, endless kind of blackness inside. Now, these are emotional states, so it goes with loneliness and depression in the extreme or in a smaller way. And it goes with just a sense of lack of connection with your own life and other people's lives. And it goes with a sense of, how am I ever going to get out of this? Now, the whole point of this video for you, for your education and for your knowledge, is to realize that despair is a spiritual condition. Carl Jung, who is a great psychiatrist, told us that every person who has a midlife crisis, and I would expand that to anyone who has any crisis at any time, whether you're 6 years or 12 years or 18 or 24 or 32 or 82 or 102. If you're having a crisis now and you feel you've lost all hope and you are feeling despair and all you can think about are despairing thoughts, then I would say you're having a spiritual crisis. And it's most important to look at the spiritual aspects in order to transform despair back into hope. Now, part of the issue is the whole notion of self and other. How many of us actually hope that somebody else is going to fix things for us, they're going to give us hope, they're going to make it better? I mean, this is something maybe when you're a 2-year-old, and maybe some of us are still 2-year-olds emotionally speaking, that you think something in the world or someone outside you or some event or circumstance or winning the lottery is going to give you hope. But nothing could be further from the truth. And that's just a lie. Because the world has gone crazy, and the truth is people really don't care. They're just trying to make ends meet for themselves, and they're probably not even thinking about you. The only thing you can do is take full self-responsibility for yourself and admit to what you're feeling, which is despair, loneliness, depression, whatever it may be, and then move forward in your life so that you can actually make the choices that will make the change in your life as well. Now, what is hope then? Hope is obviously the opposite of despair. But before we get to hope, I'd like to ask you, on a meter of 1 to 10, where is your despair meter right now? Are you at 1, meaning you have very low despair? Or you are a full 10 because you think the world's gone crazy and you're going with it too? The hell in the handbasket, as we used to say or still say. Hope. Hope is, again, sperare in the Latin, means to hope, to have full trust and full awareness that things will turn out better for you now and in the future. That's what it means to hope. Now, to what extent do you put your self-worth uh, in other people's hands? Are you always looking for pleasing comments from other people, or kudos from other people, or giving you good marks, or phoning you up? To what extent do you rely on yourself for your self-worth, and to what extent do you rely on other people, family, friends, strangers, bosses, clients, circumstances, or events to give you hope? This is an important question you want to ask yourself, because a lot depends on the answer that you give yourself for that question in terms of moving out of despair back to hope. So hope is the feeling and the thinking that you will turn this around, that you will be able to have full, complete trust in yourself and in life and in the process and the things that you are able to do and learn and grow into now and in the future. This is what it means to bring back hope. Despair is kind of like you're being out of home, you're away from home, and hope is like coming back home to yourself, and that's the most important thing that you can do to yourself, is come back home to yourself. To what extent are you putting all your eggs in the baskets of other people's activities and thoughts and feelings? You can only change yourself. You can never change other people, and probably not change too many of the external world circumstances. They just are what they are. This is where the world is at this time in the early 21st century. So the wise person will only try to change themselves and actually take the steps to do the change, which is what this I Am Self-Worth Training Program, online self-help program, is all about. I'm outlining the problems and the challenges you're all facing, we're all facing, myself included, the stresses around all this, the craziness of it all, and I'm pointing out what the steps are and techniques and methodologies by which you can regain your hope by coming home to yourself. So when I say that despair is a spiritual condition, and of course many psychologists now agree with this, that we need to understand what is spiritual. Well, spiritual is concerned strictly with the soul. It's not at all concerned with the third dimensional material world. And there are very few people probably that you can actually talk to about the soul and what your soul is feeling and needing and wants to do to grow and create and embody itself here in your earth walk. So the spiritual is relating to the source as well. Relating to the source of all that is in the cosmos. We're talking here of cosmology. But it's also, the spiritual is relating to the source within your own heart. And notice I'm pointing to my heart. It's not in your brain, your ego, or your mind necessarily at all. It's in your heart. It's in your deeper, truer feelings. To be spiritual means to have a highly refined set of feelings, ethics, if you like, values and attitudes, highly refined, highly purified, highly cleared in the sense of caring, compassion, kindness, and gentleness. And that also means thinking in the same way, that your thoughts are more refined, they're more delicate, and I mean that they're more sensitive to other people and your communications and heart connections to other people. This is what it means to be spiritual. It's not thinking about it, it's being the love you are. That's the key to being spiritual. And it is about the soul and relationships with Source and all that is and all our relations. So this is the key to this, and you need to get out of despair. To get out of despair, all you can do is revert and come back home to yourself, your source, your heart, your truer spiritual nature, your innate truth that you are a spiritual being, first and foremost, eternal and infinite, and that the material body will come and go as you take on various reincarnations in the human form. So the spiritual also means everything that is sacred, as opposed to everything in the material world, which is just mundane and banal, and obviously depressing and full of despair. Certainly at this time, if not at every time in human history, over the civilizations that have come and gone, just like this one is going now, into something better. But to take us into this new civilization, we're going to have to embody hope. Occupy hope, occupy truth, occupy freedom, and occupy your spiritual source center here. Get grounded, get focused, get concentrated. Put all your awareness that you are the only one that can bring you back from the edge of despair, back to hope in your heart and your source with all that is here, connected and conscious as well. Aspire is a word that kind of sounds like spiritual. Aspire, sperare, it has in it the notion of hope. But aspire is to take action towards something that is meaningful and purposeful. It's like climbing a spiritual mountain. It's like going to and participating in the spiritual Olympics. It's like taking that run, that leap, that swim, that hike up the spiritual mountain to the top where hope is always infinite, paramount, and eternal. Where every moment you can switch it up with your feelings and your thoughts when you start to pick up on other people's despair or the craziness in the world, or koyana life out of balance, we say in our Hopi way, where you can come easily and quickly and naturally back to knowing the techniques which I will train you in, and you can embody and become, all the techniques to move from stress and fear and anxiety back home to hope and truth and freedom and joy, in fact, and peace. And these are the techniques that are paramount for you to know and understand and realize and work on every day until they become unconsciously competent within your whole being. They're like a muscle memory. It's like a heart memory. Like, oh yeah, I know how to get back from despair back into hope. And the only way is to spiritually connect with your soul and the source. There is no other way. I've tried it, so have millions of people around the world who've tried it through all of history and civilizations. And now is the time, because the world is going crazy, and I'm sure many of you are feeling it. So the spiritual hope, the connection with soul and source, the refinement of your feelings in your heart, connecting to all that is, clarifying and purifying your thoughts, thinking good thoughts all the time, good thoughts, good things for everyone. I hope this has been meaningful and purposeful for you. I look forward to seeing you again soon. And until then, Om Namah Shivaya, and hope above all.